Good afternoon and welcome to Wild Moments, powered by explore.org, where we look at a whole lot of highlights from the Africam cameras dotted around South Africa from the last week. Joining me, Jamez Hendrai, today is Jermaine Patterson, the other side of the Lukskay River up in Pretoria. I am talking to you from Johannesburg. Hello.
Hello, everybody. James.
It's marvelous to have you with us here on Wild Moments, Jermaine Patterson. How is the weather there in Pretoria?
Thank you. Yeah, it is suitably chilly.
Yes.
We were actually just discussing prior to the start of the show how South Africa that we have this bitterly cold winter, and as such, do not build houses suitable for them.
No, we get collective amnesia come the 1st of September, and we forget that we have never been so freezing as we have in the last 3 months. And then by the time the first leaf blooms on the trees outside, we forget that it was brutally cold over the winter. Anyway, this is Wild Moments. As I said, you can talk to us. You can send us questions or comments or insults or jokes, as whatever takes your fancy, really. We probably won't read them all out if they're too insulting. If they're very funny, we might. And ideally, what you want to do is keep them related to what we're going to see from the live cameras. That's a car, obviously being stolen outside the window. I wish the thief would get on with it. It's very slow. Right, Rolling Trouble. Hello, Jamie from Washington State. Hello, Rolling Trouble. You are a loyal viewer. It's wonderful to have you with us again. Andy, you say good day all. Lovely day in Florida. 96 degrees with heat index values up to 112 expected. Wonderful. Very nice, Andy.
Lovely.
There's certainly nothing close to 96 degrees here. John, good afternoon. James and Jamie from Toasty, Florida. We've got a lot of Floridians watching the show today, Jamie. I don't know if this accent comes from Florida. I don't think it does, but I'm going to carry on using it for the next 2 seconds. Hi, James. Have a good show again. Thank you, Sicko. Jamie, I'm sorry that Sicko doesn't wish you a good show. I wish you a good show. And the only other person involved in this show, of course, is my wife, Kirsten, who's sitting in the next room, no doubt preparing a big stick to hit me with at the end of this show. Okay, I think let's get on with things. We're going to take a look at some baboons now, I think. I've not seen these clips, and nor has Jamie. Baboons, yes. Banks of the Elephants River. You just know this is going to be funny. He looks almost sad that we're laughing at him now.
No.
He must have heard the camera moving, everyone, and probably seen it moving too, and then decided to investigate.
Little coy look there.
He does. That is just marvelous. He's spitting something out. The rest of the family has absconded. It's probably a young male who's insulted somebody. Oh my goodness, look at that tiny little thing.
Look at those ears.
And those arms which look so fragile and yet which will become so incredibly strong. That is a marvelous, marvelous clip. I think it's actually worth watching again, and we'll have a chat about it while we watch it. Immediately. Right, there we go. Sunrise on the Elephants River. And this is the Katmai.
Probably quite chilly for them too.
Yeah, probably very chilly actually on the river there. And perhaps this little chap is enjoying the warmth that's been gathered in the rocks. I mean, that look like Olifants River? I'm just thinking where the camera is. It's probably sunset, actually.
That could
So
be.
maybe those rocks are quite warm after the day. He's enjoying those. Do you think this is a young male?
I think there's a very strong chance. Left everybody to go off and decided to sit there.
I mean, I can
Quite
see
see.
shades of myself at the same sort of age, trying to play hard to get, and nobody actually giving a damn, and off, and off they went.
No, if they were.
And this is just too cute. And I think he fell there.
I think he did too. And then had to look to make sure the camera didn't see him.
Yes. And this thing is tiny. I mean, how old would you say that one is?
Not older than about a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. I haven't aged a baboon in a long time.
No, nor have I. And that's why I asked you to do it before you asked me to. So we'll just go with a month and a half to
We'll
2
go
months.
with that.
Yeah. That's called tossing someone under the bus, everyone. Yes. I think the other thing that's really quite interesting there, I couldn't get over the thinness of those arms on both the tiny baby and the young male. And I was minded of watching, I was recently in Kenya. Yes, it was great. And I watched a whole troop of baboons climbing up a sheer rock face. And with, complete impunity, there was really nothing difficult for them about it. And then the youngsters were hanging on this rock face, sort of trying to push each other off, and then running around each other and stomping on each other's heads, and then bashing each other in the face and pulling each other's tails. And the strength involved in it from a human perspective is just unbelievable. When you think of how hard it is, I always use this example, but to do a pull-up on a pull-up bar or a chin-up, I mean, it takes a bit of practice, and it takes a bit of working out and trying to get stronger to do it. And yet these baboons can do 100. And if you meet anybody who can do a one-arm pull-up or a muscle-up where they pull themselves and then push themselves up like that, they're really strong. Where a baboon, from the day it's born, can do 400 one-arm pull-ups, kind of not even
Very
notice
often
it.
on the sort of the tips of its fingers.
Yeah. And they don't
Not even
look strong.
just.
They look kind of
It's
flimsy. Yeah.
Marvel. And then you extend that chimpanzee, which is quite a big animal with significantly more muscle mass. But if you ever watch the strength of a chimpanzee, it is actually terrifying.
Yeah. No, they are scary. And they actually, if you look at, they look big though. I mean, they look quite muscly.
No,
A
they
baboon
do.
looks like something that you could handle as a human being, but it would tear you to shreds if you got into a tangle with one. And I mean, they're not
Actually,
really heavy.
I still have a residual childhood fear of baboons. It's stuck with me a little bit. I don't know. You will have had the experience of being mugged by baboons at some hotspot for tourists where they've associated people with food. And I've had many a thing taken out of my hands by a scary looking baboon and never had the wherewithal to challenge it, which I think is possibly a very intelligent approach, given what we've just discussed.
No, give it your chips. Give it your hot dog. Do not try and take it away from the baboon. They are potentially extremely dangerous, but very seldom actually do they cause harm to human beings. They cause a lot of harm to human beings' property, but very seldom do they cause harm to humans. They just are immensely strong. And the other thing I noticed when they were walking around on the rocks there, and you would have noticed it in that clip, was that they, like as you say, they hold onto the rock face with their hands like that. And I remember once being in the Drakensberg and attempting something similar and then failing and sliding down the rock face with the tips of my fingers, trying to grab onto the rocks. And you can imagine the skin sort of burning off the tips of my fingers. I mean, it was horrific. But a baboon does that and nothing happens. It just climbs back up again and up they go again. And I don't know what they've got on the ends of their hands other than incredibly thick baboon leather, but it just doesn't seem to hurt.
No,
Which
not at all.
I think is remarkable. Sicko, you say you're very sorry that you didn't greet Jamie initially. Thank you, Sicko. Jamie, as you can see, has been crying
You are
extensively.
forgiven. You are forgiven.
Yep,
Yeah,
there we
no,
go.
no.
Mary, at least Judy H. May Blossom. Hello, Judy H. You say greetings. Greetings to you too. From us both. Apparently, there was somebody watching from Kazakhstan, I think Sarah, but she seems to have disappeared. I'm not sure why she
Bye,
disappeared.
Sarah.
Hello, Sarah in Kazakhstan. John, how long is a baboon's lifespan? I think a baboon's lifespan is between 15 and 20 years. Jamie, do you remember? Maybe a bit more?
Yeah, no, it's up. It might be a little bit more. I mean, I
It
wrote an
is.
article on this, which you might even have edited.
Ah,
And I think
super.
it's about, yeah, I think it's 2025-ish
Would you
in the
like me to look it
wild.
up? I think it's 20 to 25, actually. That sounds much more familiar.
I think we're somewhere around there.
Yeah. Okay. And possibly more in captivity. But
Activity.
yeah, 20 to 25 years. Yeah. Lifespan, actually much more. Jamie, well done for remembering your article. Probably around 35, you said in the article, up to 45 years in captivity. That's astounding. I didn't remember
I
that at all.
don't remember
And
writing that. That's amazing.
I'm
That
most impressed.
really?
Yeah. Well, you wrote it. I must have checked
Well,
it, I think. So yes, 35 to 40 to 45 in captivity. I actually do. Something's coming back to me now because I remember being astounded by how long they can live before. I think,
yeah,
John, it's important to remember that although that's a potential lifespan, very few will make it to that age. They do get preyed upon, especially if they're males. They'll get beaten up by other males, and I suspect males will live even, proportionately less than, say, human males to females go. That English really didn't make sense, but I'm sure that you get the idea of
isn't it
what I mean.
sad when bad things happen to good sentences?
Yeah, it is really very sad. Nice question. Thank you, John, and thank you for redoing that for us. Jay Shiloh, are those monkeys sick? They look malnourished. No, Jay Shiloh, I don't think these baboons are sick. They look pretty good. They've come to the end of the
Yeah.
fruiting season, and I don't think they look malnourished in the slightest. No, I think they look very healthy,
That
actually.
I mean, I agree. These baboons look absolutely fine, but I've done quite a bit of reading recently about the metabolic toll that winters actually take on animals, particularly things like nocturnal creatures like aardvarks and pangolins. But there's
Mm,
a huge amount that goes into keeping them warm, more in the desert areas. But Kruger does get
yeah,
pretty cold, and
yeah,
I think we underestimate the effects that a very cold winter can have on animals' survival rates.
yeah,
It's a huge, huge thing.
yeah. That is interesting. But Jay Shiloh, I would say, look, we're into winter. We're into the middle of winter, but we came out of a very good wet season. There would have been a lot of fruit around, especially in the fig trees there that those baboons eat. So no, I think come September,
They're
when
just
you
built
ask that
that way.
question, yeah, they are they. And if you looked at olive baboons, which I was looking at, those are the ones I'm talking about that were climbing up and down the rocks. They look much bulkier. The Chacma baboon is a sort of wiry gangster shape, if you like, in shape and attitude, actually.
Built
Mary
like
Mom, you say
us.
I laugh. Yes, 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 just like us, Jamie. Mary Mum, you say you laughed even harder the second time it was played. Yes, it was very, very funny. And No Name says, so stinking cute. Good. Yes, I think it was stinking cute myself. Gigi, could the baboon see its reflection? Yeah, it probably could, Gigi. I think it probably could see its reflection there. I don't think it necessarily. Not very well. It would have seen something, but I think it was probably the movement maybe that it was going for.
And the noise of the movement. We
And the
used to get a
noise.
lot of camera trap shots of baboons going, "What is this?" Because it obviously captured them as they walked past, and then they turned and went to have a look.
Yeah. All right, brilliant. Thank you for that, everyone. Well, we've only got 15 minutes left. We've got 3 clips to get through. Let's
Goodness.
go to the next one, which is a bird of prey hunting at an corner. Grass down with an Egyptian goose. I hope that wasn't the end of the clip because I didn't see what on earth happened there. Oh, no, there we go. Good grief. Good grief. I've never seen that.
I've never seen. No.
That looked like a fish eagle going for an Egyptian goose. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly what it was. That is astounding.
I was just about to say an Egyptian goose being as dramatic as always, and then
With good
realized
reason.
it had good reason. Yeah.
So what it did there, sorry, can we see that again even? I mean, that was amazing. Not much going on there. But look how the goose goes under the water to escape the eagle, then can't breathe, and comes up, and off it goes. And it outflies the eagle.
The eagle.
I mean, I think.
Can you imagine the battle if it had caught it?
Yeah.
I mean, an
Well, I
Egyptian
think it
goose
would
is not a small bird.
No, it's not a small bird, but it's not exactly equipped with the weapons that a fish eagle
No.
has. And I mean, I think it probably would have died quite horrifically. But I think also amazing to note there are 2 things. Firstly, that it dived under the water. Then that the fish eagle hovered, which you don't read
I've never
about. I
seen
mean,
that.
you hear that there are very few raptors that are able to hover. The fish eagle is clearly one that can. And then
Sure.
from the water with wet feathers. And so, I mean, the fish eagle was above and the Egyptian goose below. So the fish eagle had gravity on its side. The Egyptian goose managed to outfly the eagle.
Yeah.
I mean, I would
And
never
with
have
this,
said.
to try and get up out
Yeah,
of the water is just
yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah. No, well done, Egyptian goose. Maybe it
Fabulous
wasn't
sight.
even a young fish eagle, was it? It was an old one.
Mm.
I mean, look at that. The fish eagle's hovering, waiting. Goose flummoxes it once, and then goes for it.
You know what I
Well done to
find
the zoom.
so
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very, very good camera control there. What's so astonishing is you see Egyptian geese, with fish eagles all the time. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
they
right.
are constantly in this. So I
Yeah.
would love to know what sort of turned the circumstances on their heads
Mm.
such that the fish eagle decided this was a good option.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I think something in the back of my mind was feeling incredibly incongruous then. I think that's exactly what it was. Is that if you go to any of these dams, you'll often have 2 or 3 fish eagles sitting on perches around the water and 500 Egyptian geese going about their business. I've never seen that before.
No. Fascinating.
Tonpo, you say are birds that size typically in their diet? I mean, they take flamingos sometimes. So possibly yes, but like Jamie says, we've seen them hanging out together on numerous occasions. I'm just going to give you a full list of what a fish eagle eats. It's normally surprisingly fish. They do scavenge from time to time, but I'll give you a full list of what they've been seen eating, and maybe one of those will be the Egyptian goose. Habitat movements, general habits, foraging and food. Blah blah. 2 kilograms from the water, and I mean that Egyptian geese I think would have weighed between 2 and 3 kilograms.
Mhm.
Larger fish usually scavenged. Frequent prey are surface swimming fish such as tilapia and catfish. Yes, mullet, blah blah. Extremely agile, able to take birds in flight. Frequently preys on waterfowl, especially young birds,
Oh,
including the red-knobbed coot, reed cormorant, African darter, grebes, and ducks, including white-faced whistling duck, white-backed duck, red-billed duck, and knob-billed duck. Yet wilderness snakes in the Western Cape hovered over tightly huddled groups of coots for up to 7 minutes at circa 2 to 5 minutes. Mock attack caused all birds to dive, one grabbed on surfacing. Other avian prey include
they
Hamilton guinea fowl and red-billed quelea colonies. Good heavens. It takes reptiles as well, occasionally termites.
Well, now all my,
And
my fish eagle sightings feel a bit dull.
yes, mine too. Huh. Kleptoparasitizes pied kingfishers, and only storks and occasionally western ospreys are able to avoid piracy. Basically, they're the bullies of the water.
Hmm.
I have no idea, but it doesn't actually mention Egyptian goose in this list. Very interesting. Thank you for that question. Suzanne Bauschia, you say amazing. It was very amazing. Kathy puts a whole new meaning to lucky duck. It does. Yes, it's a very good comment. Thank you, Kathy. Lisa White, you say you've seen bald eagles catch birds here in the WA is? Which state is that? Where?
WA.
It'll come to us.
WA.
Sorry, Lisa White, but obviously where there are bald eagles. First time to see a fish eagle go after a goose, that was amazing. So, Lisa, I mean, as we've said before, perhaps, I think maybe on
Washington.
this platform. This is Washington State. There we go. Thank you very much. Did you look it up? Well done. I heard the click
I
there.
did.
Lisa, yeah, the bald eagle is the same genus as the fish eagle, so very closely related. The fish eagle is slightly smaller. So very interesting that you've seen them doing that in Washington State. Thank you very much for that. Right, fascinating. Let's move on to our next clip. Here we go. Black eagle. Oh, no, giraffe.
Again.
Right. Let's look at that, and that will be fine. So this is a timber, and there's a lioness mucking about with some giraffe. That is Astarte, the lioness, daughter of F70, female 70, brother of, at least sister of Greedy, the male. Not entirely sure why we have the shot framed like this. It is relatively artistic, thank you to the zoomie. So that's 3 bull giraffes, and they're taking no nonsense from one lioness. One of them is even chewing
So,
his
James,
cud.
while you were off
Yeah.
while chasing black leopards in Laikipia, last week we watched a very similar scene, only it was just one bull giraffe and the
Okay.
same lioness.
Ah.
And she was tormenting him, and then he was chasing her around, and she was doing very similar. And we was talking about young lions and learning about their limits. Oh, here comes the male.
That's right. This is fascinating. They're not that young anymore, are they? Are they about 3?
Yeah.
But as soon as they turn their backs, the lions give chase, but then seem to not really know what to do. Now, this is amazing. I mean, nobody seems to be taking this very seriously. But I can assure you those giraffe are probably pretty terrified. The lions are confident enough to know that they can get away.
Whew.
Yeah, and obviously, oh, and is that the mother? Must be the,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's the gormless son coming afterwards.
It's a bit slow on the uptake there.
Yeah, that is the lot of the male lion, I feel. I feel that they are a bit slow on the uptake. Fascinating stuff. And I think just, yeah, like we were saying, they're testing their limits, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, last week the book to me it looked confident that she. Well, I suppose it was only her C at least, and
Mm,
he was chasing her back properly. He was charging her and then trying to
okay.
walk away, and then she'd come back again. But very interesting to see them do it again.
Yeah,
And we were talking, Russell and I were saying, for her, the only way that anything would be vaguely successful is if there was some sort of catastrophic fall, if
yeah.
the giraffe stepped in a hole or
Except that, in Namibia, there's that incredible footage that Willie Steenkamp and
Mm,
Liani, also Steenkamp now, shot of that
yes,
lioness, single lioness, taking down a giraffe in the desert on her own,
sure.
jumping up onto its side and then getting on the neck and pulling it down. And I think she got injured during it. But I mean, it is possible for a single lioness to pull a giraffe down. Probably just too much else there for them to take the risk.
Yeah. I mean,
And
desperation, I
not,
suppose, in
yeah,
Namibia.
yeah. Definitely not desperate in that particular case. Very interesting indeed. Okay, let me just check if there are any questions. Just so you know, in this clip, Zoomies couldn't access the cam. Okay, so that's why the camera didn't move. All right, thank you for that. That's from my wife. Kathy, lions might think the giraffes are giant feather toys. Kathy, that is to presume that a lion living at Tembe has ever seen a feather toy. I don't think they have. But yes, I take your point. It did look like they were just having a good time. And I do
Yeah.
think that is an important part of being a cat, actually. I think they
Yeah.
entertain
Feline
themselves with
hunting.
play. Yeah.
Mm.
And I think they entertain themselves with play into adulthood, probably much more so than many other animals do. All right, we've got a few minutes left. Let's go now to the black eagle. Oh, there we go. She's doing some housekeeping there. Oh, the little eagle's growing, isn't he?
Mm.
Little eaglet. And we watched her yesterday
Much
bringing in a bit of fresh stick and leaf, a bit of furniture. And I mean, I don't. Unless she's pulling the hair off a bit of prey.
I think she might be.
Yeah, I think that's what she's doing.
She's dropped a lot of it on him.
Yeah, I think that's what she's doing. And he's waiting patiently. When we say he, we have no idea if he's a he or she. It's just easier than saying it or they. Yeah, I think that's hair. So some poor rock dussy, or dare I say it, someone's domestic moggy has ended up in the nest there, and it's going to be devoured by the little eagles. Or the little eagle. Oh, now that's amazing.
Whoop.
We've just been chatting about that, and in case you missed it yesterday, these little eaglies are born with the instinct to poop out of the nest. And that one demonstrated its incredible skill just there. Wow. I I didn't know that until yesterday, and now I've seen it firsthand.
I, I didn't know that at all.
No,
I mean, I've
but you
seen
see how,
hornbills do it, but
yes.
yeah,
So that thing positioned its cloaca, and then out out it went. that's, that's wonderful. Tim, before we go, you want to know what stops an eaglet from falling out of the nest. Tim, instinct. I have seen footage, camera trap footage of an eaglet falling out of a nest, perhaps getting disorientated in the night and actually dropping clean out the nest while its mother watched in the dark, sort of unable to grab it because they can't see very well at night at all. So that was really fascinating. So yeah, I think it's just instinct, and sometimes they do fall out of the nests. Rolling Trouble, do we got a name for the chick yet? Rolling Trouble, I don't think we do have a name for the chick yet. Can't think of one offhand other than Chick or Ian the Eagly or yeah, that's all I got. Now, Jamie, would you like to suggest?
No, I've had I don't know any names at all. I know nothing. I can't think of a single name.
Yeah. Rolling
Ewan.
Trouble tends to be
Ewan
quite
the
a
Eagle.
political thing. What was that?
Ewan.
Ewan the Eagle. I think that's it. Ewan the Eagle.
Eugene.
Okay, great.
Eugene the Eagle.
Eugene the Eagle. And then if it's a girl, we can call it Eugenie. We'll never know, of course, until it meets a mate and is either bigger or smaller than that mate. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us on Wild Moments, powered by explore.org. We will see you again at the same time, same place next week. It won't be me. I'm not sure who it will be. No, it will be me. I'm just getting from the next room. It will be me. So yes, it will be me. It won't be me on Tuesday. Until then,
Don't think it'll
goodbye
be
from Johannesburg and, of course, from Pretoria.